Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So I'm going to be going through with you the players that Manchester United could sell next year. So Paul Pogba, he's one player that could be sold next year. Now according to the BBC, Manchester United are planning to sell Paul Pogba next summer. Now, Paul Pogba has received a lot of criticism recently. Jamie Carragher said he's not good enough and he should be sold. Dion Dublin also criticised him after our 1-0 defeat to Arsenal. I think also too Roy Keane criticised him. France, by the way, lost 2-0 to Finland recently, and Paul Pogba's been criticised for his concerning body language. Now, don't forget Didier Deschamps, who is the France manager, said that Paul Pogba cannot be happy at Manchester United for being left on the bench and for playing out of position, and he said he needs to have talks with Paul Pogba over his situation at Old Trafford. Now, Paul Pogba was not happy when we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. Paul Pogba has got a contract with a football club until June 2022. Fabrizio Romano also confirmed that. There has been no talks though over getting him a long-term contract at the football club. But during the summer, Pogba's agent Mini Raiola came out and said that Pogba wants to stay at Man United and he will hold talks over a new long-term contract. Now, earlier on in the season, he did make an admission saying that one day he wants to join Real Madrid, because he was talking a lot about Real Madrid last year and also to Zinedine Zidane, and he said he wanted to leave Man United because he was seeking for a new challenge. There's a possibility chance that he could go back to Juventus because obviously, Juventus have obviously been in for him. Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, but the vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones at Juventus. Is the possibility chance that, Pogba could go back to Juventus and, we'd get Cristiano Ronaldo as part of the deal. You just never know. But swap deals are rare in the modern game. PSG have also been in for Pogba before a few times, and so too have Barcelona. Pogba's only started 2 of our last 7 games, so he isn't even getting starts now, is he? This is his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined from Juventus. He has made over 100 appearances for us in all competitions. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. That was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. For the vast majority of last season, Paul Pogba wasn't playing because he was out with that ankle injury. As it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. Not only that, he's one of the highest paid players at the club because he's on 290 grand a week. Don't forget the turn of the year, we was very critical of his agent Mini Raiola because he publicly criticised Solskjaer and Manchester United. We've lowered our asking price for Pogba. It said that we will accept £53 million. That's £36 million less than what we paid for him. But I said, we'll find it extremely difficult to get more than the £89 million that we paid for him. So, yeah. Phil Jones, now, he's another player that could be sold by Manchester United next year. I think since Phil Jones arrived, he has been inconsistent. You know, Phil Jones has been at Man United now, is it around 9.5 years, something like that. We did get him from Blackburn back under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. I think we paid, was it around 16, 17 million pounds for him. Phil Jones is currently out with injury at the moment, and not so long ago he had an operation. I'm surprised he didn't leave in the summer transfer window. Now, another player Manchester United could sell next year, and that is Marcos Rojo. You know, Marcos Rojo has never really established himself as a first team regular since his arrival. You know, we paid, was it just over £16 million for Rojo from Sporting Lisbon back in 2014. Obviously, he sustained a few injuries as a Man United player. Don't forget, last season, Marcos Rojo was out on loan with Estudiantes. Now, another player Manchester United could sell next year. That is Daniel James. Obviously, there was rumours of him going out on loan in the summer transfer window, wasn't there? Obviously, Leeds United are the ones that have been interested in Daniel James. Don't forget, Leeds United came very, very close to getting him in January 2019, didn't they? But yeah, we got Daniel James last June for around £18 million. It was June last year we got him. And Daniel James signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United. But Daniel James is out of form and he doesn't really get a lot of chances now, does he? I think another player that could be sold next year, and that is Nemanja Matic, because Nemanja Matic has lost his place in the team. And when he's played recently, his performances haven't been that good. Nemanja Matic is aging up. He's always been a slow player, really. Matic has endured over 3 years at Manchester United. We paid £40 million in from Chelsea back in 2017. I think at the start of the season, Nemanja Matic signed a 3-year contract with the football club. Another player that could be sold next year, and that is Juan Mata. Now, don't forget, earlier on in the season, Juan Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. And he basically said, that he wants to stay at Manchester United. Juan Mata has now lost that yard of pace because he's obviously now in his 30s. He's had some good games this season, don't get me wrong. He played very, very well in both our Carabao Cup games against Luton and Brighton. He also played well in the Newcastle game and weren't so bad in the Chelsea game. Matt's had a good career at Man United. He's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at the football club. He's scored 50 goals for Man United in all competitions. And he's made over 200 odd appearances for the club. And we paid just over £37 million in from Chelsea back in 2014. So there you go. Odi Nagalo, I'm expecting him to leave the football club in January when his loan expires with Manchester United. We did get Odi Nagalo on deadline day in January. The main explanation why we recommended him in was to get a covered up to Marcus Rashford, because at the time we got Igalo when Marcus Rashford was out with injury. But Igalo doesn't even get in the team now, but last season he was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup, and just after the first lockdown we did extend his loan. Dean Henderson, now there's obviously been rumours saying he could be loaned out. We won't offload him permanently. Dean Henderson is obviously number 2 at Manchester United at the moment. Gareth Southgate did tell Dean Henderson that he needs to play more regularly before he challenges Jordan Pickford for the number 1 jersey. So, if we was to loan Dean Henderson out, that means Sergio Romero will probably stay at the club. But if Dean Henderson wants to stay, then I think we'd offload Sergio Romero permanently, wouldn't we? Because Sergio Romero at the moment is our 3rd choice goalkeeper. You know, Dean Henderson has not played in the Premier League this season for Man United, but he's played in both our Carabao Cup games where he made some good saves, and he made his Champions League debut against Istanbul Besiktas, but he was too exposed in that one. Dean Henderson's got experience behind him because he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield. He also had loan spells with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury when he was younger. Dean Henderson's been at Man United since the age of 14. You know, at the start of the season, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with the football club worth 120 grand a week. So he committed his future in Man United. Lee Grant, I think he's another one that Man United are looking to offload. Has hardly played since he came in from Stoke. Do you think we could loan Brandon Williams out next year? Because obviously Brandon Williams is now our 3rd choice left back following the arrival of Alex Telles. Williams has played in the cup games this season. Hasn't been too good, but I thought last season Brandon Williams was very, very good, to be honest with you. He was getting more chances last season because Luke Shaw had a couple of periods out with injury, didn't he? We gave Brandon Williams the number 33 shirt, didn't we, at the start of the season? Jesse Lingard, I think he'll be leaving Manchester United next year. Doesn't get in the team now, and he's too inconsistent. Jesse Lingard has been part of the club for several years. So yeah, there you go. They're the players Manchester United could offload. Now, who will Mauricio Pochettino's next club be? Now, there's been quite a few clubs that have been interested in him, and that is Manchester United, obviously. Real Madrid, Manchester City have also been interested in him. Newcastle at one point were in for him. Zenit St. Petersburg, it said, were in talks with him the other week. It also has mentioned that Pochettino has been considering taking the PSG job. Marca reported out yesterday that Mauricio Pochettino is Atletico Bilbao's top target because Atletico Bilbao are close to sacking their manager. So, reflecting on that, it says Man United suffer Mauricio Pochettino setback. David Einstein from The Athletic says, that is not close to his next job, but he is ready for a return to management. You know, he made that clear on Monday Night Football the other week because he is missing football. And I heard that he's watching Man United and Chelsea closely. Now, Mauricio Pochettino has been managerless now for like a year. You know, he was sacked from Tottenham last year. But I think Tottenham made a bad mistake by sacking him. I think Mauricio Pochettino is a much better manager than Solskjaer because, you know, Mauricio Pochettino's well Premier League proven, his philosophy's good, he's dealt with top players and all of that. My only element of concern about him, he's not won anything in terms of silverware. You know, Mauricio Pochettino's been the favourite to take over the reins at Man United. You know, he was the favourite to take over after Jose Mourinho had got sacked. You know, he did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. You know, he guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last year, and he guided them to the League Cup final, and he guided them to two FA Cup semi-finals. And he was backed at Tottenham by Daniel Levy and all that, and I think he must have spent over £200 million on players. You know, before he was at Tottenham, was at Southampton. He got Southampton their highest finish in the Premier League era. I think he got them 8th. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So far, he's managed 3 clubs in his managerial career. The Manchester Evening News said the other week that Man United have approached Mauricio Pochettino over becoming the club's new manager. But Rio Ferdinand, he came out not so long ago and claims that Man United have had no conversations with Mauricio Pochettino over replacing Solskjaer, and Ferdinand said he was frustrated with the disrespect that was shown to Ole. But if we did appoint Pochettino, you know, what players would he recommend in? He recently said the 5 players he could possibly recommend in, and that'd be Jadon Sancho, Harry Kane, Kalidou Koulibaly, Dele Alli, and, you know, possibly Erling Haaland. More than likely demand a director of football if he came in, and the question is, would he get the backing of the board if he came in? You know, because our board have not backed any of the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired. You know, they haven't backed Moyes, they didn't back Moyes, they didn't back Van Gaal, they didn't back Mourinho, and obviously, you know, they haven't backed Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. We've obviously been looking at a couple of other managers as well. You know, we've been looking at Massimiliano Allegri, former Juventus manager. We've also been looking at Julian Nagelsmann, you know, RB Leipzig manager. They're 2 alternatives to Mauricio Pochettino. But a lot of people think it wouldn't really solve a lot if we sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously not all of the blame stems from the manager, reflecting on our inconsistency. You know, obviously there's still certain players that are underperforming at Man United. Like I said, we've been demanding the board out for several years. You know what I mean? But I think what Manchester United need to do is, in January, is obviously to sign more players, get rid of more players. And I think we definitely need to get a right winger in. We need to get a centre-half in. Where we need to get consistency. So there you go. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager now for almost 2 years. He has got a contract with the football club till 2022, so if we did sack him, we'd obviously have to pay. I think it'd probably cost the club around £4 or £5 million to sack him. Ole has managed over 100 games for Manchester United in all competitions. And he's won around 57 games as Manchester United manager. This is his 2nd full season at the football club. And I said he has to exceed his expectations this season if he's to remain in the Manchester United job. Now, I don't think we'll win a title under Solskjaer. I think we are at least a few years off from winning the Premier League. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. Last time we won it was in Ferguson's last season. That season we won it by 11 points. But nothing's changed in the last 7 years or so. You know, Man United have just been in the exact same position. You know, we've obviously had different managers with different philosophies. You know, the managers that we've sat since Ferguson was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. You know, we've only won 4 trophies since Ferguson left, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield under Jose Mourinho. We spent close to the £1 billion range on players, and we've recruited over 30 odd players in since the Ferguson era. We've also got players on big contracts at the club. You know, our most expensive sign at the moment is Paul Pogba, like I said, who we paid £89 million for. You know, second most expensive signing, Harry Maguire, who we paid £80 million for. Harry Maguire is the most expensive centre-half in the world. Paid £75 million for Lukaku when we got him from Everton in 2017. He's no longer at Man United now because we let him go to Inter Milan. We paid £60 million for Angel Di Maria. When we got him from Real Madrid under Louis van Gaal, he's no longer here now. You know, paid £52 million for Fred, £50 million for Bissaka, £40 million for Nemanja Matic. You know, so we have spent big on players, haven't we? Ole Solskjaer has spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager. And he's endured 4 transfer windows at the football club. Obviously, in the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January, he recommended Bruno Fernandes in, and he brought Odin Ighalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of this year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Traore. Amad Traore will be joining the football club in January, as you all know. I think Solskjaer, though, has showed a lot of tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. Our record against the top 6 sides has been pretty good since he came in, especially last season. You know, Ollie beat Pep Guardiola 3 times. He beat Frank Lampard 3 times. He's beaten Jose Mourinho once as Man United manager. You know, this season he's beaten Ancelotti. He's a good manager. You know, he's beaten Julian Nagelsmann and he's beaten Thomas Tuchel. But in a lot of the games, Solskjaer's been very tactically naive, and definitely some of his team selections have been questionable. I credit Solskjaer for what he did last season, because last season he guided us to 3 semi-finals. He got us qualification for the Champions League, and he also got us third. Third is the second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've also got rid of a lot of players since he got recommended in. You know, we've seen the likes of Lukaku leave the club. We've seen Herrera leave the club. They are 2 players I think, you know, we should have kept in reality. We let the likes of Darmian go, Chris Smalling, Marian Fellaini, Alexis Sanchez, Angel Gomez. We've loaned a few players out as well, haven't we? You know, we let obviously Diego Dalot go out on loan to Milan. We let Andres Pereira go out on loan with Lazio. We let Tahith Chong go out on loan to Werder Bremen. We let Dylan Levitt go out on loan. We let James Garner go out on loan. I think Joe Pereira went out on loan again. So yeah, a few have been loaned out. Don't forget, we let Young go permanently in January. Valencia, he left in the summer of 2019. So a lot of players have left since he got recommended in. I also like the way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has promoted the youth. You know what I mean? By the way, Manchester United have got a few injuries. As I've already confirmed with you, Luke Shaw has got a hamstring injury and he's going to be out for up to a month. So that's very, very bad news, because Luke Shaw's been in good form recently. You know, he's got 2 assists in his last 2 games. Eric Bailly, he's out with a muscle injury for a few weeks. That's my element of concern about Eric Bailly, 2 injury prone. Lingard's still out with injury, but I heard that he's close to returning. You know, Jones is still injured, like I've already mentioned. Rashford had a problem with his shoulder during the Everton game, but I think Rashford should be alright. Before the Everton game, it said Lindelof had a back injury, something like that. Before the Everton game, it said that David De Gea had a groin problem. These are players at Manchester United, though, that have impressed me, like I've already mentioned. You know, Marcus Rashford, he's really, really impressed me recently. Bruno Fernandes, he's also really impressed me. Donny van der Beek, he's impressed me in the games he's played in. But he's not really started, has he? He hasn't started yet in the Premier League. You know, he has started our last 2 games in the Champions League. I've been very, very impressed with Fred recently. Like I said, I've been impressed with Luke Shaw. Harry Maguire, he's really, really impressed me because he's rejuvenating himself and he's bounced back from his early season troubles. David De Gea has really, really impressed me recently. And Wan-Bissaka's impressed me in a lot of games he's played in this season. So yeah, there's definitely players that have impressed me. You know, Juan Mata's also impressed me, but there's also players that have got to step up to the plate. I think Anthony Martial, he needs to step up to the plate. He's been quite poor this season. I know that he did have a 3-game suspension. He's obviously served that 3-game suspension now. But there's a lot of United fans now saying that Martial needs to be dropped and we need to start Edison Cavani instead of Anthony Martial. Mason Greenwood, don't forget we've had a few issues with him. We have concerns over his attitude and his lifestyle, and Bruno Fernandes was frustrated with him in his recent training session, Mason Greenwood. He's been withdrawn from the England squad yet again, and earlier on this season he was withdrawn from the England squad with Phil Foden. But Mason Greenwood's still the foreseeable future for Man United. You know. Paul Pogba, you know, he's got to step up to the plate because he's also been very, very inconsistent, hasn't he, Paul Pogba? Matic, you know, he hasn't impressed me, you know, the games he's played, you know. McTominay, he hasn't really impressed me, to be fair. He's had a couple of good games, but he's nowhere near as good as Fred, and he's been playing alongside Fred, you know, a lot recently, Scott McTominay. I've just got element of concerns about him, you know, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So there you go, and I've also got strong reservations about Victor Lindelof. He's had some good games this season, but he's nowhere near on the same level as Harry Maguire, is he? Let's be honest. Yeah, but yeah, yesterday I give you the breaking news, didn't I, on Cristiano Ronaldo? It says that Cristiano Ronaldo is considering a return to Manchester United after talks begun. It was Fox Sports journalist Christian Martin that revealed that Man United are in talks over the possibility of bringing Cristiano Ronaldo back to the club. It says also too PSG have been in for him. Juventus apparently could let Ronaldo go to PSG if they get Neymar as part of the deal. Ronaldo is currently Juventus at the moment. He's obviously on around £540,000 a week. He scored 71 goals in 94 games for Juventus in all competitions. Next summer, Ronaldo will have 1 year left on his contract with Juventus. So Ronaldo could end up seeing out his contract and, you know, he could end up going on a 3. That's what could happen. I don't see him coming back to Manchester United, though. I really, really don't. But I would take him back at the club, despite the fact that he is 35. Juventus paid £100 million for him from Real Madrid back in 2018. But yeah, Ronaldo did endure 6 years at Manchester United. He was there from 2003 to 2009. And obviously during his time with us, he scored 118 goals in 292 games in all competitions. He won 3 Premier League titles. He won the Champions League. He won the FA Cup. That was the first trophy he won at the club. And he won the FIFA Club World Cup. Didn't he? You know, at the time we got Ronaldo, we paid just £12 million for him from Sporting Lisbon. And then obviously we sold him at Real Madrid in 2009 for £80 million. So we gained a £68 million profit. You know, Ronaldo's won 5 Ballon d'Ors. He's won 30 major honours so far in his playing career. And if he was to bring him back, then he would be reuniting with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wouldn't he? Obviously, Sancho, you know, do you think we could go in for him next year? There's obviously been rumours saying that we're going to go back in for Ousmane Dembele. You know, Jack Grealish, it says now we're interested in him. I think we're going to make a move for Grealish if we can sell Paul Pogba. You know, Villa said they wanted around £80 million for Jack Grealish during the summer, didn't they? And weren't willing to pay it. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.